Hello everyone, how you all doing? It's Sal, Stretford Post. Welcome to Chatterbox. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this Wednesday afternoon. I believe it is. It is Wednesday afternoon. Completely losing track of time. I hope you're all doing well. Please, before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me. That'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. Don't forget about it, guys. Thank you so much, you absolute legends, guys. It does help with all the algorithms and stuff, as it does just here, guys. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, keep it going, guys. So we're on our way to 12,000. Ultimately, we want to get to the goal of about 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Of course, guys, let's get straight into it, of course. And as I've been speaking on the thumbnails, writing on the thumbnails, it is a future-defining moment for Man United, month for Man United in regards to the transfers that are going to be happening very, very soon, hopefully. Now, there's many players that are linked to Man United, and it's very important that Man United get the right players in, not least the striker situation. Now, Sesko has been made available by his club for around 63 million euros, guys. So basically, that is a fee that is very affordable for Manchester United. Around that money is not too bad for Man United to afford. What do you make of that? Would you go after Mr. Sesko, Benjamin Sesko? Would you go after him? Would you sign a player of that ilk? Is he proven enough to you to be that player for Man United? Now, this fee, and obviously can be negotiated probably. Man United could probably do a fee with an installment plan, so to speak, basically pay a little bit of money and you know what, stretch it all the way for a number of years. Not 35 years, as someone said, 35 years, 20 million a year, not that something like that. But basically, Man United would like to do an installment plan with this player. This is why Man United can afford these players, basically. Man United are not going to sign the player for 60 million straight off the cuff with 60 million straight there. They're going to do an installment plan. And this is one thing that's going to take a little bit of time, of course, as it did with Mbeumo. 50 days to be exact, guys. So, you know, this is very, very important that Man United pick the right player, though, because we don't want to be messing about with Sesko, you know, and not agreeing a deal before the start of the season. So we have to really get this deal moving if we want him, or do we want someone else? Because at the moment we have got Mbeumo through the door, but it has gone stale again. It's stalemate again, isn't it? We really should be using this momentum to get more players through the door. Sesko has been heavily linked to Man United, of course, but there are a number of other strikers that are linked to Manchester United as well, not least Ollie Watkins. Now, Ollie Watkins obviously is the Premier League proven player, of course, and a lot of people want Ollie Watkins, would prefer Ollie Watkins. Now, look, I think it's, you know, I don't think it really matters as long as the player that scores the goals, he put the balls in the back of the net, of course, guys, and that's what it is. Ollie Watkins has been proven to put the ball in the back of the net at Manchester United, in the Premier League at Aston Villa. But what I would say is that Sesko's got the ceiling, you know what I mean? He's got the ceiling and he can bring things, obviously, he can improve and he can become a world-class striker, of course, guys. Hope you all do well. Let me read out some of your comments. Hope you're good. Big up everyone, of course, in the chat, of course. Big up, Jamie. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Big up everyone, of course. I hope you're doing good, guys. Hi, big up, matey. England are through to the world. Yeah, congratulations to the England women's team who have beaten Italy by 2-1. Very entertaining. 96 minutes they scored to equalise against Italy and then scored, one of the very late in extra time as well. Absolutely unbelievable. Written in the stars, of course, guys. And they go on to play either Spain, isn't it? I'm not sure who the other team is. They play Spain. I'm not sure who the other team is. But, yeah, congratulations to them. Germany and Spain. Yeah, there you go. Germany or Spain. Goodness me. Who do you want in the final? We'll have to wait and see. Big up, Stephanie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're blessed. Of course. Hope everyone is good today. Of course, guys. Big up Sal. Big up Issy. I don't think we'll be getting the Valencia midfielder. Rumours is using to get a bit of wages for his new. Look, at the end of the day, the links are that, you know what, he wants to leave Valencia. I wouldn't say that he's doing it to get... obviously, people are going to say that. I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think he'd be using Man United to get a new contract. At the end of the day, he's not that big of a player, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Valencia would give him a contract anyway. You know what I mean? This is the thing. He plays for Valencia. He's not a big player. They're going to give him a contract anyway. You don't need to use Man United to get a new contract. He's going to get a new contract anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's a little bit, you know, ridiculous what people are saying, because if it was a big player, that wants big wages, that's a different thing. But when it's a player like Javi Guerrera, who's not exactly a massive player, but he's a talented player, I don't think they'll be using Man United to get him. If Javi Guerrera had the choice, he would want to go to Manchester United, and Manchester United are heavily interested in him. Although, you know what, I wouldn't pull it past him signing a new contract. Valencia, at the end of the day, Man United have been linked to many players in the past, and then he've ended up signing a new contract. But I don't necessarily feel, although it's not in the realms of impossibility, that he wants a new contract, so he's using Man United to do that. Do you know what I mean? He's not Zinedine Zidane at the end of the day. Jacob, big up everyone, of course. Big up yourself. Jamie, yeah, my mum was buzzing last night. England won, gives her something to be happy after losing their dad, I guess. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Really sorry. I lost my granddad this year, of course, which was very, very sad and shocking. I was actually on stream when it was happening. So, look, at the end of the day, I'm glad she's happy, and I'm glad the England women went through. Now just go and finish the job. Let's take it home. Let's bring it home. That's what we need to do again. You know what I mean? It's just need the men to do the same thing now, don't we? Absolutely. Big up everyone. Ineos Glazer's out as usual, Stephen. Very well said, my friend. Sesko, don't get me wrong, but I just can't handle another Hoyland project in the club. Sal, look, I get what you mean. I get it. I'm proven. I'm not prolific. I get it, but he's a completely different player to Rasmus Hoyland. He's got more strings to his bow, so to speak. There's always going to be an element of risk, Sal. I hope you're doing well, by the way. It's been a long time. There's always going to be an element of risk when it comes to players that are playing in the Bundesliga or Italy, and they're not. You look at his record. If you look at Rasmus Hoyland's record at Atalanta, he only scored 10 goals in 50-odd appearances for Atalanta. Sesko scored like 1 in 2 in his career, and he's been at obviously Leipzig quite a while. So look, I wouldn't paint him with the same brush. He's got more strings to his bow, in my opinion. I think he's a little bit more talented, in my opinion, which is why Arsenal and teams like that were chasing him. He scores some fantastic goals. He misses some crazy chances as well, though. It is always going to represent a risk. It always is. And if Man United want to minimize risk, Man United are going to have to go after the likes of Sesko and the likes of Ollie Watkins, excuse me. They're going to have to go after the likes of that, isn't it? It's whether they want to take that punt, they want to take the risk. It is an expensive risk, in my opinion. As I said, my favourite player at the moment would be Mateta to come into Man United. If Mateta came to Man United, that's the guy I would want, because I feel like he's highly underrated, in my opinion. There's also players like Gonzalo Ramos, Vlahovic, other players of that nature. And this is when I say that the future-defining signings that Man United could sign, future-defining, because it is a very, very important summer this summer. I mean, I think this is probably one of our most important summers in our history. I really do believe that, my man. I think that if Man United get it wrong, we're going to have a long way back, so we have to get the right players in. We have to get the players that make a difference, and we have to do it now. Do you know what I mean? And this is why this is why they get paid big bucks to do those deals. Ollie Watkins versus Sesko, it's probably looking like that way at the moment. Obviously, some people are saying, let's get Sesko. Some people are saying, let's get Ollie Watkins. And I think a bit from both of the sides. I agree from both sides of it, of course. Obviously, I look at the negatives from Ollie Watkins in regards to last season, and I look at the negatives in Sesko in regards to unproven in the Premier League and that. And it's a bit of a hard place at the moment. It's difficult to say. Big up, Randy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Big up, everyone. Hope you're blessed. Of course, guys. Barrow will be in and Wiesa will be sold on loan. I mean, look, Jacob, at the end of the day, Wiesa could be leaving Brentford to go to Newcastle United, in my opinion. I think he looks more likely to go to Newcastle United. And I feel very, very sad for Brentford, because obviously they're going to be torn apart. But that is just football at the end of the day. What they need to do is just they need to work like Brentford, how do you say it? Brighton, both BR, Brighton, Brentford. They need to work like Brighton and find gems. That's what Brentford need to do. Big up, my friend APN. I think there's a budget replacement for Bruno. I mean, Bruno's not going anywhere at the moment, APN. When we look at it, Bruno's not going to be leaving this football club. I think Bruno will end up retiring at Manchester United. Whatever people think of that. What do you think of that, APN, if Bruno ended up retiring at Man United? I just can't see anyone purchasing Bruno now. I think Bruno had his chance to leave, and he didn't leave. And it was 100 million that we rejected, and we have to live with it now. at the end of the day. And I hope that he succeeds next season and he plays very well next season. That's what I hope. Biggest thing for me is I hope he succeeds because it's best for Manchester United at the end of the day. Next season, I don't want us to have the same problems and be regretting that, I wish we sold him. I don't want that to be happening next season. Absolutely not. So I just hope he hits the ground running and we start playing football and good football and winning football matches and he scores goals and he assists like he always does, of course, guys. But what I would also say is that I'm a little bit concerned about the midfield position. I'm concerned about him playing number 8, but that's just me. Hey, big up. Sal. Sesko has a scope of improvement because of his age as he's young, but then again, he has only 18 goal assists for 3 games, which isn't really good numbers when you play in the Bundesliga. It's not. And this is the one concern for me. But you also got to look at the context and you've got to look at some of the goals that he scored. Some of the goals that he scored have been absolutely phenomenal. And that shows talent. That shows talent to do that. Now, he misses a lot of easy chances. But the good thing about a player who misses easy chances is that they're in the right place. At least they're there to be have an opportunity to take those chances. But this is where you are with football. We could sign Sesko and it'd be absolutely revolutionary for Man United. We could sign Sesko and it'd be an absolute flop. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. At the end, what I would say, Sal, is that before this whole window started, Sesko was not my first choice. I had Osman, I had Gyökeres, I had obviously Mateta ahead of him, and I still have Mateta ahead of him. I think Mateta is the guy for me in regards to that. But if Sesko came to the football club, I would like to see Sesko playing alongside Cunha and Mbeumo. It would be a good thing to see. As you said there, Sal, he's not prolific, and this is exactly what I've been saying about him for a long time. But as you said there, again, he's got scope for improvement, and he's got a ceiling, unlike Ollie Watkins. It depends what you want, really, isn't it? It depends what you want. It depends if you want a guy who's going to come in straight away, hit the ground running, scoring lots of goals, but be a short-term, stopgap fit, or do you want a guy who's going to be there for a long, long time? My opinion, and I agree with you, Sal, to an extent, is that Man United have had these players for a while in regards to the Sesko type players. Rasmus is one of those players. But I'm not going to paint Sesko with the same brush. But, I would say it does represent a risk, of course, at the price that they're quoting as well. Big up everyone who's joined me today, absolute legends. Jamie, what's going on? I watched a lot of Javi Guerra improves our midfield, but he's still after a new contract. Obviously interested. We'll have to wait and see. We can only judge it by what we see happening in the next few weeks. The one thing is that there is a lot of media outlets reporting on this. I did report this a couple of weeks ago in regards to Javi Guerra, of course, and I mentioned him. Man United are going to be interested in a lot of players, Jamie, but Man United have not approached Javi Guerra, subject to all the BOP, I believe. Man United are only looking for strikers at the moment, and then Man United will be looking at, midfielders after that and goalkeepers and stuff like that. I really do hope, however, Man United do go for a midfielder. I think we do need a midfielder in there. I'm really positive. At the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing Mainu and Ugarte next season. I think that they had circumstantial and problems last season. In regards to Ugarte, didn't have a pre-season, of course. Mainu, that was that contract debacle in regards to him, and then his form sort of dipped somewhat, didn't it, at the end of the day? Sal, I think we will have to gamble on either side if we get Watkins or Sesko, because Watkins will cost us more than Sesko. Yeah, since his rival Premier League tax and all that. Other hand, Sesko isn't pre. But this is the thing, isn't it, Sal? This is where you're stuck in between a hard place and a double-edged sword, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? You got Sesko, who's got not proven in the Premier League, not prolific. But it's got potential. Then you got Ollie Watkins, who the season before last was very good, but this last season wasn't as good as he was, and it does become a little bit difficult to see. But whatever happens in regards to the striker situation is the fact that how would I say it? Whatever happens between the striker situation, we have to understand that this team that haven't scored goals, and whoever comes in there in that team, we hope that they score goals. And as I said, whatever happens, these were not going to be the first choice strikers that Man United were hunting for, so to speak. You know what I mean? We did need someone else. We did need a Gyökeres. We needed an Osman. Unfortunately, we didn't get those strikers. So every striker that we're going to be looking at the moment is going to be like, the third, fourth, fifth choice. Unfortunately, and they're always going to have their flaws. They're going to have their faults, and that is one thing we have to say. But you never know what will happen, Sal. The thing is that Ollie Watkins might come into the football team and be absolutely revolutionary. Same with Sesko, or that one of them might be a flop. You never know. The likelihood of Ollie Watkins being a flop is less than what Sesko is, and that's what we would say, although the price with the Premier League tax, as you said there. So it's very difficult. One thing we would say is that once Man United get a striker in, I back the striker and I hope they get goals, because one thing we've been starved of this last couple of years is bloody goals, haven't we? Football's all about goals. Football's about entertaining, and we're not seeing enough goals for Man United, are we? So I hope that we get a striker who could put the ball in the back of the net, you know what I mean? Regular. Preach, Sal, big up, love you, Sal, big up, love you. Thank you so much, brother. I love you too, man. Hope you're doing well, and no problem, mate. Life has a habit of slapping you in the face like a wet salmon, doesn't it? At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but you know what? This community got me through. It's a great community, of course. On a positive, Brian Abraham home and Rashford has left. Great news, Sal. Great news, absolutely. You know, the only thing with obviously Marcus Rashford is obviously he's not signed an obligation. He's got an option to buy, but if he gets sent back to Man United, they have to pay a small fee. I just hope we don't get that Jadon Sancho situation again. Do you know what I mean? Where they send him back, because we're going to have the same problem next season. I just want these players out of the football club. It does look likely that Anthony will leave the football club. There are rumours that Man United have increased the price tag for Anthony to 50 million euros, guys, because of his performances for Real Betis last season. Bravo, because he is worth about 50 million. You look at the way he performed for Real Betis last season, got him to the final of the Conference League. He was fantastic last season. We shouldn't be underselling ourselves with these players. Absolutely not. We shouldn't be underselling ourselves. He's worth about 50 million, and Real Betis have got to pay that money. So Man United have put a 50 million price tag on Anthony, and hopefully some team comes in for him. Or I keep calling Real Betis Brentford, but anyway, they're acting like Brentford anyway. But I would say that Real Betis will have to pay the money if they want to will and deal with us and come out with an offer. You know, then great. Aim high. That's what I say with Man United, of course. Sal, big up by the way, Sal. By the way, it's always a good chat with you. One of my favorite and genuine MC great. Thank you so much, Sal. You're one of my favorite people as well, mate. Really appreciate you on here. It's great to have a football chat. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what I would say and what Sal says, you know, guys, you know, it is true. And it's factual. We can't see the future. I remember when Man United signed Dwight York, and we were after the likes of Patrick Kluivert and players like that back then. And I was like, we got bloody Dwight York. Why Dwight York? And I was like this. I really was. And then when he signed for Man United, he completely shut me up. He was absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Because I wanted Patrick Kluivert. And it would have changed the whole history, you know what I mean, if Man United ended up signing Patrick Kluivert, as you can imagine. But yeah, you never know. At the moment, Man United, unfortunately, are into the bargain basement players. Not bargain, actually, but they are expensive. But basement type players that, you know, we're looking for. We haven't got our first and second choice, unfortunately, which is Osimhen and Gyökeres, in my opinion. But you know what? One thing I would say is that doesn't necessarily mean there's not good strikers out there that can put the ball in the back of the net. I'm really concerned about Rasmus Højlund. I wanted Rasmus Højlund to do well. Having watched the Leeds United friendly the other day, it just confirmed a few things for me. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe we send him on loan. Maybe send him to Germany, send him to France, somewhere like that. Get his confidence going again. Let him get some goals, and then come back. Maybe he'd be a better player, of course. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in him and stuff. I don't think he's doing very well, of course. Are you doing a live stream on the 5th of August? Going live on the 5th of... What's on the 5th of August, by the way? Excuse me if I forget, because is it a friendly? Are Man United playing in the friendly? Man United fixtures. Let me have a look. Depending on the times, to be honest with you. I'm looking at the times, to be honest. No, Man United. What's going on the 5th of August? I'm live every day, though. Well, one thing I will say, my friend, I'm live every day. I will be live on the 5th of August. I am live every day. But the problem is I'm having at the moment is these friendlies in America. They are absolutely ridiculous o'clock. Of course, guys, and Man United kicking off at 3 a.m. and things like that is absolutely ridiculous at the end of the day, in my opinion. Stephen, would United take Jackson on the season loan if we can't get Watkins or Sesko? The club is broke. At the end of the day, what I would say about that is that, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking Jackson on loan. It's better than nothing, isn't it? But I don't want Jackson. I don't think he's good enough. But you know what? Getting him on loan, you never know, do you? At the end of the day. Now, speaking of loans, Manchester United have been in contact with João Paulinho of Bayern Munich. Man United could quite possibly do a loan deal for João Paulinho to stopgap in that midfield. Obviously, Man United's midfield is not very strong at the moment, in my humblest of opinions. There is a little bit of a gap in the midfield, and João Paulinho could be a temporary answer for that situation, of course, guys. Obviously, we did speak about João Palhinha a couple of weeks ago. Was it a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, in regards to him coming to Manchester United? And he is a sought-after player, a very good player. 39 on caps for Portugal, 2 goals. A very, very decent player. So this is the type of player that Man United could bring in, which will save a bit of money if we get him on loan, of course. And it will contribute towards us getting other players that we need. For example, the goalkeeper, the right wing back maybe, and the striker. I'm still not giving up hope in regards to the right wing back, in regards to Vanderson. Of course, guys, those type of players. I was not giving up on those players. But Palhinha is one to look out for. He will be leaving Bayern Munich in whatever capacity this season, I believe, and he could possibly go on loan to a suitor club. Manchester United are aware, and Manchester United are looking at that situation closely. At the moment, though, however, Man United are looking at the striker situation a little bit more potently. They're looking at bringing in a goal scorer at Man United, and that's what they're looking at the moment. Unfortunately, we don't do 2 deals at once. That is not what Man United do, is it, at the end of the day? Two. What's going on, man? Man United should offer Valencia to sign Javi Guerra. I think he has the version of Michael Carrick or Pedro. We need to sign the youngest player. He's very fast. He may be box to box. I agree with that, Tuesday. He's a fantastic player, mate. 21 years old, Spanish international. I think he's got 2 caps for Spain. Very, very good player. And we should be stealing a march on these type of players like Javi Guerra. Absolutely. Javi Guerra does want to leave. I am hearing that he wants to leave, but that doesn't mean he's not going to sign a new contract. That could possibly happen as well. That type of signing, though, is the type of signing that Man United never do. Unfortunately, we've been linked to loads of players in the past, like you remember Saul of Atletico Madrid. Even Rodri, Man United were interested in way back when, of course. And Man United never did those type of deals, unfortunately, even though it is a godsend that we should do those type of deals. I wouldn't rule it out. There is a lot of journalists talking about Javi Guerra. I did speak about it last week before they were speaking about it. Man United are aware of this player, and I hope that Man United do sign a midfielder. Is he going to be my first midfielder? As I said earlier, I would love Man United to sign Baleba or Wharton. That would be absolutely fantastic. Man United could do a deal with one of those 2 players. But you know what? It's going to be very expensive, unfortunately, for us. Of course. Big up, Bobby. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Jacob, who do you think Sal is going to win tonight? Germany or Spain? In my opinion, I think Spain will win, Jacob. I think they just got that tiki-taka sort of thing going on. Absolutely. I think Spain will win that game, my friend. Absolutely. Big up Tinsel Tube. Big up everyone who's joined me today. Absolutely on Chatterbox. Big up Sanjay, the legend of Sanjay. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're all doing well. And thank you so much, Stephanie, as usual. You're absolute legend. Thank you for your support, as always, my friend. Absolutely. Thank you for your support, of course. Tinsel. Sesko, my favourite striker in 21st century, is a modern striker. He plays as a winger attacker as well. Yeah, look, you know what? At the end of the day, I understand people's concerns about Sesko. Obviously, they're looking at the numbers and goals. Strikers are always going to be judged on goals, ain't they? They're always going to be judged on how many goals they put in the back of the net. And I think that's understandable because Man United have had a minus goal difference the last 2 seasons, of course, guys. So what I would say is that, you know what? If we sign Sesko, I'll be happy. If we sign Ollie Watkins, I'll be happy. If we sign Mateta, I'll be extremely happy. If we sign Gonzalo Ramos, I'll be happy as well. As long as we get a striker in there who's competent and can put the ball in the back of the net. But one thing I would stress, I don't want us to forget about your likes of Chido Obi Martin, and I don't want to stifle their development as well, because I think they're going to be great players as well. Big problem, though, is the Man United midfield. Ruben Amorim has been speaking about the midfield and said that he needs more energy in the midfield. And he wants Ineos to go out there and sign a midfielder, a number 8, so to speak, who can control the tempo of the game. Because we have been missing that kind of player. A player could control the tempo of the game. It does look likely, however, that Ruben Amorim is not a big fan of Kobbie Mainoo, and obviously he hasn't been really talking about him in a high esteem sort of way. But yeah, look, we'll have to wait and see. He obviously does want a midfielder in there. And he's looking to get a midfielder before the start of the season, which will be important in my opinion. Also, the goalkeeper situation. We've also had the rumours about Cellular Menz again coming to the fore. Cellular Menz obviously is a very talented goalkeeper, young goalkeeper that could be between the stick for years. And if we bring in a Cellular Menz, Onana could stay at the club. And then obviously, slowly but surely, Cellular Menz could take Onana's place and redeem that number 1. Well, take the number 1 position, of course, guys. Absolutely. Potential is always a risk, just like proven. Got to have the right mentality to play for now. Absolutely, Stephanie. This is one thing I like about the likes of Mbumo and Cunha, because you can tell that they really want to be at Manchester United. The way they're speaking, the way they speak about the club, they love the club. Mbumo supported the club, of course, when he was younger, which is fantastic. You know, as well, adds more strings to his bow in regards to how much we love Mbumo, of course, and how much we love Cunha. Because the way they're talking, I like it at the end of the day, and it's refreshing to see. You know, you've got all those teams like Arsenal and Liverpool and Chelsea now who are showing off at the moment. It's really disappointing what's been going on this last few months and this last few years. Man United have fallen further and further behind. But that's not to say that we can't come back. We can come back. And I think that with Mbumo and Cunha in this football team who want to play for a football team, who love the club, I think that we can move forward. I really do. But it would be really important that Ineos give Ruben Amorim the best of chances in regards to the best shot and not throw him to the Lions and the Sharks. You know what I mean? Because obviously we can't turn these players into world beaters all of a sudden. You know, they came 15th last season. There's a reason they came 15th last season. There's a reason they lost to a Tottenham Hotspur team, a weakened Tottenham Hotspur team, in one of the worst finals I've ever seen at Man United. Probably the worst final I've ever seen in Man United's history, in my opinion. Big up, Stephanie. Brian Moran, what's going on, my friend? Are we doing well? Well, like everything linked with everyone from my postman to Sesko as usual. I'm just waiting for them to give me the call, Brian. Where's Michael? I want them to link me to Man United. I'll put the ball in the back of the net for them. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I wouldn't even flinch. I would put that ball in the back of the net. Big up, Brian. Hope you're doing well, mate. Of course. Big up, everyone. Absolutely. I think we should go for Mateta, since right now no one is going for him since Liverpool got the ticket to Gige. I actually feel, Sal, that Mateta is one of the most underrated strikers there is. I actually feel that he will have a bigger impact than Gyökeres if he went to Man United. I'm telling you that right now. When I watched that FA Cup final against Man City, he absolutely dominated that game. For me, he was the man of the match, in my personal opinion. He was the man of the match, and he was fantastic. And I don't know why no one is going for after him. It would be cheaper than the likes of Sesko and stuff. I think he's got a stipulation in his contract, a release clause in his contract. So I would really, really love Mateta at the football club. He was my third choice, by the way. I would like him, but Man United are not making any strides to get him, unfortunately, at the moment. Stephen, Sir Jim stopped the full sale, and they always hate him. Ineos and Glazers out. Sorry for the hate, but you're absolutely right, Stephen. I've always, as I said, I've been on the Glazer out train since 2005. I was a full sale, Glazers out, and no Sir Jim Ratcliffe partial takeover. I was against that. I was well known for it. I actually went to Qatar, went on Qatar TV, spoke about it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, look, it's disappointing. One thing we have to hope is that Man United come back, because at the end of the day, I miss football. I miss a great Manchester United football team, and I want Man United to succeed. We have left ourselves with one hand, two hands, three hands. No, we don't have three hands, but two hands, two legs behind our back, unfortunately, because obviously we got Ineos, unfortunately, and Ineos are not willing to take risks. And this is the problem that we're going to have going forward, of course, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Stephanie. 2152. Thank you so much, absolute legend. Thank you, of course. Yeah, don't forget to smash a like, guys, whilst you're in there. Please don't forget, guys, you're absolute legends. We are both angry, mate. Believe me, I hate him too. Absolutely, mate. We're all angry, brother. We're all angry. We're annoyed. We have some good players, but the mentality has just not been right, as you said. Absolute culture at the football club has not been right. From the top to the bottom, it's not just about talent. Whether we believe it or not, Man United should sign 4 players, for instance, holding midfielder, striker, goalkeeper, and a right wing back. Agree with that, Tinsel? If we could do that, I'd be absolutely delighted, Tinsel. If we can get a right wing back, I think that right wing back position is highly underrated. You know, we do need a player there. I'm looking at Van der Sar, a player of that ilk. You know what I mean? That would be absolutely brilliant going forward, of course, guys. Absolutely, I would like that. Absolutely, guys. Brian. They won't pay 30 million for Anthony. They have to sayonara Tara. That's what I would say about it if they don't want to pay for him. Definitely, James, as the state of Manchester United is shocking. Finished 15th for that, absolutely. It is shocking. Yeah, and especially not only 15th, my friend. It's losing the Europa League final to Tottenham as well. Never in my life. I think that final has scarred me mentally. I think that final really hit me. I think that is when I thought, I don't like these players anymore. That is what I did. After that final, I was like, I don't like these players anymore. They can go do whatever they want. I don't care anymore. After that final, they embarrassed this football club. Brentis, absolutely. Raul Brentford. That's it. Raul de Brentford. Yeah, but we're gonna have that. There's a new club, Raul de Brentford. Oh goodness me! They're gonna have to rename their team at this rate. The rate they're going, selling all their good players, they'll probably get relegated a few divisions. They're going into administration. There's a name for them, Raul Brentford. That's big up. Also, tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, everyone. If you liked Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne is a thing. There's people dying every day, Jacob, in the Middle East. There's children dying every single day. Love to his family, but you know what? I feel like, this guy was, he was a little bit of a genocide lover, which I don't like. But you know what? I wish him all the best wherever he is right now. You know what I mean? Guys, absolutely. Stephen, was Ozzy Osbourne a football fan? Aston Villa fan, Jacob. Aston Villa fan. Never listened to his music, to be honest with you, and I like rock. Running Don Ozzy and Paranoid. Who heaven of so tracks? Couldn't care less. To be honest with you, couldn't care less about a genocide supporter who supported genocide and kids dying and stuff like that. I mean, it says more about the person if you trust this guys, if you like these people. We got a match in August in preseason. I think the last one before the league starts. We got a few matches in August. A few friendly matches, I believe. I don't think we got a match. We got West Ham on the 27th of July. We got Bournemouth on the 31st of July. We've got Everton on the 3rd of August. And we got Fiorentina on the 9th of August. So, look, I will be doing the Fiorentina one. I might do the Everton one. The one with West Ham is at 1 a.m. So where I am, when I'm back in the UAE at that time, so it will probably be about 3 a.m. kickoff. I don't think I'll be doing that one. The one against Bournemouth is 3:30 a.m. And, I don't think I'll be doing that one because that'll be a 5:30 a.m. kickoff. Maybe. There might be a small chance I might do it, but it is pretty difficult. This is the thing about going to America. Absolutely, guys, absolutely. All right, one thing I'm not a fan of is doing friendlies in US. Me too, brother. Ground since it's very injury prone, failed, and I don't want our players having any sort of. I agree. I spoke to Andy Mitten about this earlier. I said, isn't it funny that we keep going to America, and Man United never went to America in the past. It was all the way up until 2003 where Man United went. The first time Man United started to go to America, and then obviously when the Glazers came in, Man United started to go to America a lot more, and obviously for some commercial reasons, the Glazers and stuff like that. But also Man United back in the day, we used to go to South Africa, we used to go to Australia, Japan, and all these countries, quite regularly. Unfortunately, we don't do that anymore. And I would have liked Man United to just explore other countries, go around the world a little bit rather than America. It hasn't done us any good over the last years, isn't it? Look how many times we've been going to America. It hasn't really worked well for us, hasn't it, guys? Absolutely. Don't confuse the psycho pants, Stephanie. Big up everyone, of course. We played Bournemouth and West Ham. Bournemouth, West Ham. I'm looking forward to that, Jamie. Hope you can join me for that, my friend. I am looking forward to that. I really do think. What's with Yavigeri? Big up Agmigi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sorry if I had to say your name wrong, but Agmigi, big up yourself. Hope you're doing wrong. Man United are linked to Yavigera. Man United have been linked to Yavigera for the last couple of weeks. There is a lot of rumours going around about Yavigera. And Man United are big fans, admire Yavigera as a player. And obviously, a lot of people are saying that Yavigera is fishing for a new contract. However, I do argue that point that they would give him a contract anyway. I don't see why he would have to use Man United's name to get a new contract when they would give him a contract anyway. You know what I mean? I would say. But it's good to be linked to this player. I like this player, young player, could develop as well under Ruben Amorim. I think Man United need this type of player. I really do. I really do going forward. Brian, he was an Aston Villa fan. He openly loved Aston Villa. If you watch the reality TV show with Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy Osbourne, he loved Aston Villa. I've tried asking people's favourite Ozzy albums, and nobody knows any. Because he was overrated, mate. At the end of the day, I'm a big rock fan, but yeah, that's just me. And I'm a massive rock fan. Big up, Sal. Big up, Danny B. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, guys. Absolutely. Sal, it's for the money. Oh, it's always for the money, mate. No matter what. Not me, though. Did he? I didn't know that he was a Birmingham City flag. Sorry. I mean, he liked Aston Villa. Didn't you see the Aston Villa tribute, Jacob? Didn't you see the Aston Villa tribute? Simmer, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We don't need Jamie Jackson of United. Trust me. Big up, Simmer. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Guys, absolutely. Look at the guitars as well. Yeah, Brian, goodness me. Here we go. Hello. Big up, Philly. What's going on? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed, of course. Hi, Simmer. How you doing? Big up you, buddy. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well, of course. Guys, Tantric Monkey. What's going on, my friend? That sounds like, speaking of music, Tantric Monkey sounds like a very, very good band. You know what I mean? Have you heard? I'm going to the Tantric Monkeys concert. Oh, have you heard of the Tantric Monkeys? I'm going to the Tantric Monkeys concert. Absolutely. Sesko, Lamens, and Paulina on loan, or Watkins, Lamens, and Guerrero. Sesko, Lamens, and Paulina. Watkins, Lamens, and Guerrero. Watkins, Lamens, and Guerra for me, Tantric. If you're asking me the question, I say Watkins, Lamens, and Guerra for me, absolutely, all day long. I think I'll take that, but I wouldn't be opposed to Sesko, Lamens, and Paulina. Absolutely not, guys. Can we do? We are not linked to. It will be quicker. Yeah, we can. Absolutely, we are not linked to. We're not linked to Kevin De Bruyne. Mark, big up Jacob the Walker. I hope you're doing well. Big up Sal, big up Yorkshire Cowboy. It's very strange that Robert Amrin prefers Mount to Kobe. I think it is a little bit weird. But one thing I would say, Yorkshire Cowboy, is that we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, do we? We just look at things for what they are and what we see in the media. That's one thing about it. One thing I would say is that very interesting for me, because I like to look at things in an open, sort of objective kind of way, is that when the rumors started about Kobe Mainoo last season, about his new contract, etc., it was around that period that his performances started to decline significantly. And I look at that and I think about, does that say a lot about his character? Does it? And I'm a big fan of Kobe Mainoo. Guys, I was saying it, generational, that first season and stuff, went with England and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I was saying all that stuff. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I want to know what's going on with Kobe Mainoo, because you can't go from what he was in his first season to what he is now. And I want to know what's going on there. Absolutely. There might be a reason that Ruben Amram prefers Mason Mount. Maybe it's the fact that he can play the number 10, of course. And you know what? One thing I would say, Cowboy, is that Ruben Amram wants Bruno Fernandes in that midfield, doesn't he? He wants Bruno Fernandes in that midfield. He wants him as a number 8. He's not gonna, if Mainoo went into that midfield, there's going to be less chance of Bruno playing, because obviously there will be a Nugati and a Casemiro there as well. So maybe that's the reason as well, of course. Brian, Lamens could talk. No one now in Ferris. Big up, my friend. I Yorkshire Cowboy, big up everyone, of course. I am from Ethiopia. Tinsel, happy days in Ethiopia. I hope you're doing really well. Really good to see you, my friend. All my family and friends in Ethiopia, of course. I treat everyone as family, guys, of course. Only thing left is by Mateta. We have to Cunha and Mateta. Cunha, Mateta. I got you, mate. That would be brilliant. Absolutely be brilliant. I mean, look, guys, there is a PR right there. Jim Ratcliffe, mate, money maker. There's a good PR campaign right there. Cunha Matata, all that business. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. Cunha to Matata, goal. That's what we want. Absolutely. I take anyone at this point, to be fair. Big up, Philip. Big up, Philip. Anyone? I'll give you a lot of Leyton Orient players if you want. Big up, everyone, of course, guys. Good afternoon, sir. Is there any good news? I mean, I've been speaking all show about recently good news. Man United at least being linked to some players. That's a good thing. It's a little bit worrying when Man United are linked to nobody, which has been happening this last few weeks when we were trying to sign in Bumo. Do you remember? No news was coming out of Man United and we were getting a little bit concerned and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Big up, Ephraim. All the Ethiopian love English Premier League. 60% of Ethiopians are fan of Man United. Thank you so much, Tinsu. How long would that last, Tinsu? Let me give you a question about it, because I was talking about this earlier. You know, as Man United become, how long, let me rephrase this. Man United haven't won the league since 2013. So as the time keeps stretching in regards to Man United not winning the league, do you feel that the new generations that are coming through, will stop supporting Man United and start going towards City and Arsenal and Chelsea. The longer time we're unsuccessful, because it's really good to see that people in Africa still support Man United. I'm really delighted about that because, you know, at the end of the day, we haven't been successful, have we, over the last, 15 years? In the grand scheme of things, when you think about Man United, success is Premier League, Champions League, and things like that. When you think about the grand scheme of things, we haven't been that successful. So it's really good to see, and I'm glad that our fan base is still there. Because I did see the images of Man United arriving in Chicago, and there wasn't many people there. Is, you know, in the past, maybe 10 years ago, there would have been a whole bunch of thousands of people there waiting for Man United, even if it is America, of course. LT, the lemon still can be done, and then we can go for a strike instead of waiting another 2 weeks of looking at a striker leaving desperation time window. Goalkeeper and a centre midfielder, because we'll be absolutely, mate. One thing we need to avoid is panic buys, last minute buys, 20 to 31st of September, whatever it is, looking for a striker, looking for a midfielder. We don't want to be going down that road. We want our team to be, you know what? We want our team to be ready for the start of the season, of course. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Jacob, Sal, what are your thoughts on Jim Ratcliffe at the moment? Not a fan. Sorry, not a fan. Think he's a very dismissive sort of character, very snobby sort of character. Doesn't like people who are below him. This is why he's happy to sack loads of people on 30 grand a year, if that, you know what I mean, on mortgage and things like that. I just think he's a very, like, sort of modern day Scrooge, you know what I mean? Modern day Scrooge, looking down on people. I think he's one of those type of people. I don't think he's a very, like, he's one of them people who like rich people. That's what I would say about him. So I'm not a big fan of him, but I hope he does well at Man United, because if Man United do well, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But at the same time, it would be great if he left. No, Jim Ratcliffe is a weight of the club, a disgrace. Big up, Brian. I agree with that. One thing, the problem with Brian, obviously, Jim Ratcliffe, he facilitated the Glazers. He went to bed to the Glazers. He gave the Glazers a life support machine. Basically, Qatar were the life support machine of Manchester United. And Jim Ratcliffe walked over to the life support machine, unplugged the life support machine, and gave it to the Glazers. And basically, that's what happened. And I'll never forgive that as well. Big up, everyone. England are through. Big up, my friend. Hope you're well. Sal, do you think we will get Javi Guerra? We'll have to wait and see. Everything could change in a week, of course. Yeah, that final was really bad, really bad. Big up, Brian. It was awful, mate. It was awful. And I'll never forgive them players for that. Absolutely. Never forgive those players for that. Sid Jim did okay so far. Jacob the Walker. I don't think he's did okay so far. One player in 50 days or whatever it is. I don't know about that. I don't want to talk about that, to be honest. The final was a disgrace. We look like a championship team. Exactly, Jamie. I agree with that. Absolutely. Pick up, Sal. Love your views on the psychopath spouting faults of sadness for any artist they didn't listen to. Look, you know, at the end of the day, look, I come from a generation. My great-grandmother was an OBE. Right, and she mingled with a lot of rock stars and things like that. You know, her name was Jessie Matthews. Look her up. She was my great grandmother, and I know about the industry. I know about their feelings and stuff like that, and what they are. And to be honest with you, I'm looking at the world today. I'm seeing a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and I don't really have any sympathy for an artist. I mean, I have my condolences, but one thing in life is a guarantee, isn't it? He's had 70 odd years of a good life, taking drugs, smoking. The biggest question we should be asking ourselves is that, how did he make it past 40? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that's what we have to be doing. He had a good life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's people who don't even get that opportunity, in my opinion. Jim Ratchet, absolutely, Randy. The hair appreciation match, absolutely. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, Jim Ratchet. I'm just playing with you, by the way. I'm playing devil's advocate, Jim. Randy, by the way. De Gea appreciation match. Sal, Arsenal struggled today to beat. Yeah, we got Fiorentina coming up, isn't it? Arsenal struggled today to beat a shit AC Milan team. Did they beat them? I didn't even know that. Of course they're going to struggle. That's Arsenal, though, isn't it? No, Manchester United, they're not as good as people think. Manchester United to come to Ireland, not anymore. Brian, I'm tired of this American going to the States business every single summer. It's like a given, you know what I mean? Spread it out a little bit, for crying out loud. Go other places in the world. Why do they always have to go to stateside? You know what I mean? No offense, but they need to change the record a little bit. Jacob, Sal, what are your thoughts on Man United's new stadium, or would you prefer playing it at the Old Trafford? My thoughts are, I'm an Old Trafford guy. I think Man United should redevelop Old Trafford. That's my thoughts about it, and I think they can redevelop it. I think the reason they're not redeveloping it is because they want to put their blueprint all over the new stadium. For example, the Sir Jim Ratcliffe Stadium, Sir Jim Ratcliffe Way, the Glazer Hotel, the Ineos Hotel, things like that. That's why they want a new stadium. They don't want to redevelop Old Trafford because they can't put their blueprint on it. They can't put their name on it. That's why they're so desperate to have a new stadium. If they really wanted to, they could redevelop Old Trafford and make Old Trafford into what it is. Why haven't Real Madrid moved away from the Bernabeu? Why haven't Liverpool moved away from Anfield? Because it disables you as a football club. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. Look at Arsenal since they moved to the Emirates. What's Arsenal's greatest achievement since moving to the Emirates? They haven't won a league, have they? You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't always work out like that. And it's the same with Tottenham and the same with all this, of course, guys. Absolutely. But then again, Tottenham haven't had any success apart from last season. Did Man United, Sal, used to go to Wales or Scotland at all? Yes, they did. We used to play Celtic a lot. Jacob, we used to play Glasgow Rangers a lot. I remember us playing Glasgow Rangers a few times. We used to go to Italy. I remember us in 1997 playing Inter Milan. We used to go to different places in the world. Nowadays, we're just going to like America and that's it. You know what I mean? With these artificial pitches and, you know, empty stadiums. Special Lights, thank you so much, FM, you legend, of course. Tantric Monkey, amazing. Well, absolutely. Tantric Monkey. Amazing name. There you go, the Tantric Monkey. Very good, very imaginative, absolutely. As a music man, I'll say become a musician and call your band a Tantric Monkey. At this time, without any addition, where we were finished. I don't like making predictions at this time without any additions. You're luring me in this one. I would say with Cunha and Mbeumo, sixth. That's what I think. But if Man United, I'm being optimistic here, but if Man United manage to sign a couple of more players, then it could be a little bit better, of course. If we leave Old Trafford for the new stadium, we would destroy the history and culture. I agree with that, mate. Absolutely, Randy. Amazing goals, brilliant from Michelle Adjemeng and Chloe Kelly. I was in the out or how quick the game changed from Italy. 1-0 at half time to 2-1 to England. Very well deserved. Well done to the ladies, of course. Guys, of course. Cunha Matata passing down the wing. Big up, Jamie. Big up, my friend. Hope you're well. Okay, the Glazers destroyed our club and their final attack is our stadium. Absolutely, Randy. Great. Spot on, brother. Brian, supporting United is passed down from father to son. Absolutely. Apart from me. My friend passed it down to me. One of my best friends at school gave me a VHS tape of Man United and a magazine, and I read through it, and I just fell in love with the football club, the history of the football club. And that was the late 80s, guys. We were not champions. Do you know what I mean? We were not winning things. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. EC, Sal, any inside info on the new training facility? No. To be honest with you, it looked nice, probably. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I haven't really looked into it, to be fair. I will be looking into it. Let me have a look at this, to be honest with you. The new training facilities at Man United. Let's have a look. New training facilities at Manchester United. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Mr. Drone. We got a drone here. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Let me see if that. Yeah, that's off. Let's see if the new Carrington development. How old is this video, by the way? Let me have a look. So, yeah, it's 3 months ago. I don't think there's any. It just looks like bloody. It just looks like a usual training ground, to be honest with you. Ephraim, with the owners, we cannot make any history. Big up, my friend. Obo, Man United, in my opinion, should not be a go for zone for banished players who are Man United to think they can use players other clubs consent defunct. What does defunct mean? Don't quite get that, my friend, but you can repeat yourself, no problem. Jackson is a failure, of course. Conversion rate, 1.5%. There you go. Really bad. Yeah, you're right, Sal. Aussie had all kinds of kids in the world. Don't see their first year out. Exactly. You know, I'm always sympathetic and everything of people who pass away, and always am, because at the end of the day, you know what? They're older than me. They lived a longer life than me, and they've seen a lot more than me, most likely. Probably not, but yeah. Look, what I would say is that, I tend to look at things from a perspective that, you know, I find it really weird that, you know, what's going on in this world, people are so quick to just, you know, because he's famous and, you know, oh, poor Aussie. He's had a fantastic life, guys. Let's not forget that. You know what I mean? And that's one thing most people don't even have a chance to do. But Jamie, these musicians and actors aren't who you think he is. Sal is basically saying, yeah, They don't care, mate. They care about their own greed. That's all it is at the end of the day, Jamie. I've been in the music industry 20 years. I met a lot of people. You know what I mean? Amy Winehouse used to send her goddaughter to my house for me to look after, so she can go and take some. You know what I mean? But there you go, guys. That is just the way it is. But I have no offense to anyone who loses their life or unalives or anything like that, because obviously it's sad. But what I would say is that we got to keep the same energy. You know what I mean? With what is going on in this world, especially him who supports that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, which isn't good. Of course, I miss McFred, pure chaos. Big up, Randy. And he's right from they aren't. Big up, Jamie, you absolute legend. Thank you, mate. Definitely, there's more than USA World's a big place. Yeah, exactly, Brian. And that's one thing I would say. And Man United used to do it a lot, Brian. We used to go to Norway, Ireland. I remember all this, Scotland, Italy. You know, we would go all around the world. We wouldn't just play. All right, we're going to America, and we're going to go to Chicago. Then we're going to go to Houston. Then we're going to go to LA. Every single year. It's the same thing every single year. Bloody go to Brazil. Go to Argentina. Go to Mexico. You know, go to Jamaica. Go somewhere different that, you know what, you look at it and you think, yeah, well, at least they're going something different, somewhere different. But all the time, the same thing, stateside. You know, and I don't even want the World Cup in America. I think it's, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Sal, do you serve directive accent? Well, at the end of the day, you know, we have to think about the PSR and FFP. We wanted to qualify for Europe, but unfortunately, we couldn't do that. So at the end of the day, we have to realize that we ain't got the financial capabilities to do the transfers that we want to do. So at the end of the day, and then you got Gary Neville at this moment in time, not asking the proper questions. Bill, what's going on? Jesse Matthews, Margaret Matthews, she has an acid dancer singer in the 1920s, performed at the Royal Albert Hall, by the way. 1930, she was a popular film star stage known for her graceful dancing and sweet single voice. That is my great-grandmother, Bill. Thank you so much. Absolutely. There you go. You've exposed me. You exposed me. You probably exposed me. I'm Jesse Matthews. I'm related to, yes. Absolutely. My friend and family. Jacob, I support you, Tinsel. I big up my friend. Don't judge your colour. Nationally, we stand by you and Ethiopian people around football. Big, huge support, my bro. Absolutely. All day long. If we don't get another player in, how do you think we'll do? Not very well, Brian. I think we'll come, if we're lucky, we'll come sixth. I think Mbeumo and Cunha will make a huge difference. I don't think we can change the fact that Rasmus can't hit the back of the net. I don't think we can change the fact that Onana's going to let one slip through his hand at any minute. I don't think we can change the fact that Maguire is Maguire, and the defense we're slow from passing out from the back, and the transition from the defense to the midfield, from the midfield to the striker is slow. The only saving grace, of course, is obviously Diego Leon and Mbeumo and Cunha and those players there, and we hope that it does take a spark. I did say that many, many times. It does take a spark for something to ignite, of course. You never know. Only when it's shut down, no one realizes it. They don't know. Trust me, guys. Are you family football fans, Sal? Are you family football fans, Sal? My mum supports Wimbledon. My dad supports Huddersfield Town. My younger brother supports Liverpool. My older brother supports Tottenham. How about that? And I support Man United. How about that, guys? Lots of conflict within the family, of course, guys. Absolutely. Yeah. Sal, what makes you support United? In 1988-89, my best friend supported Manchester United. He was from Salford. Came up to me, started talking about football. Didn't like football back then. I was very young, but I didn't like football back then. I was more into my cartoons and things like that. And then he gave me this magazine, and on the magazine, I saw some old Man United players, and I remember him giving me a VHS tape as well, and I watched the VHS tape, and I watched it again, and I watched it again. And basically, it was all about the Busby Babes and the 1968 European Cup win. And basically, it was about that. And I was like, oh, wow. And even at that age, I looked at it and I felt, you know what? I like this is beautiful with the story. So basically, what happened is that I started basically on and off started watching football, match of the day. And I always used to say, Dad, I want to watch Manchester United. I want to see Manchester United. I want to, which is coincidental. A couple of years before this all happened, I went to Sir Alex Ferguson's game at Wimbledon, right? And I was not interested in that game. I was not interested. I didn't like football. My dad liked football. And we went to that game, and I was not interested in it. And my older brother was a big football fan back then. He loved football. He still supported Tottenham back then. And basically, when I went to the Man United game against Wimbledon, Alex Ferguson, young Alex Ferguson back then, came out of the coach. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah, I remember a long time ago, guys. Absolutely. That's why I support Man United. So do you think Berardi and Wilcox are incompetent? Do you think the Glazers and Jim are tying their hands behind their back and not giving them authority to changes we need? What I would say, LT, you make a good point there. What I would say is that I'm not going to completely blame Wilcox and Berardi and all that, because these people have worked for Man City and teams like that. Do you know what I mean? Who've been competent at buying players and stuff. It is the Glazers, mate. I would say it boils down from the Glazers, then it goes down to Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos and that for facilitating the Glazers. The culture at the football club needs to change, and as Ratcliffe, Ralph Ragnick once said, the culture, which means the whole football club, not just what's on the pitch. The whole football club needed to change, and what he basically meant, which is why he got sacked, is more or less is that the Glazers need to go, because the Glazers are the problem at the football club. The Glazers are what's slowing things down. Now, for example, Man United could be in negotiations with a football team about a player. And the football team will say, we want this, you're going to give us this. And we say, okay, let me just find out for you. So they'll ring up Joe Glazer. This is like Berardi and all these guys. They'll ring up Joe Glazer. Joe, they want this much money for this player. What do you think? Joe will say, okay, let me see what I can do. Puts down the phone, rings up Avram Glazer. Avram, what's going on? They want this much money. What do you think? He goes, all right, let me get back to you in a couple of weeks. And then he puts down the phone. Avram Glazer will be liaisoning with all of his family, and then he'll do the same thing. Rings up bloody Joe Glazer. Joe Glazer rings up Berardi. Berardi does that, and then they say, no, can we give you that much? And then obviously we've already wasted a few weeks. And that is what Man United do. And this is what Man United is so slow at. Too many chefs in the kitchen, and the Glazers are slowing everything down, of course. Big up. Hello, TOU. Big up, Jacob, of course. Shame it wasn't George, or it's the austerity Osborne. Big up, Mark. Big up, Joker. Absolutely. Defunct, not put into use. Big up, my friend. Big up, Obo, all day long. Spot on. Big up, Jamie. Have to say, just tuned in yesterday for the first time. Great show. Well, Brian Moore, I really appreciate your comments. Really good, mate. Really good. Look, guys, we like to get a little bit. I don't like to get too political and stuff on this channel, but we like to talk about various subjects and stuff. We like to get a little bit like into the deeper side of things in regards to life as well, because obviously it's only so much of football that you can talk about. But obviously there's a lot going on at Man United at the moment, and there's a lot of opinions out there. And the one great thing about this community, which I love, is that, you know what, we all got different opinions, and we all have our ideas of what we want. The overriding thing about it, though, is that we all want the same thing ultimately, which is for Man United to become a better football club, Man United to start winning again. That would be great, wouldn't it, at the end of the day? But thank you so much, Brian Moron. Thank you. And don't forget to spread the name, spread the channel, and tell people to subscribe. Thank you so much, you legend. Big up, Jamie, my friend. Big up, of course. Of course, guys. I agree with that, Abo. Don't think anyone can change that. Absolutely. Big up, bro. Hit the likes, guys. Come on, it's free. Thank you, Randy. You absolute legend, as usual, mate. Much love to you, brother. I hope you're doing well, as usual. We banter about, but I've got nothing but love for Randy, of course. Some crack in your house watching football. Oh yeah, mate. Absolutely, mate. Especially when I was growing up in the 90s and Wimbledon with the crazy gang and all that, and my mum would be watching it. And then my dad didn't used to do much. Obviously, I lived in Leighton, so my back garden was basically Leighton Orient. And obviously, I was football everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, my mum's from Wimbledon. She supported Wimbledon. My dad lived in Huddersfield when he came to England. And yeah, he supported Huddersfield. And my brother supported Tottenham. My brother had a chance to support Arsenal, but chose Tottenham at that time. I don't know. I've never asked him, but I wonder what he thinks now. Would he make the same decision twice? At least Tottenham have won in Europe. That's one thing I would say to my brother. Thank you for the news, Jeffrey from UG. Jeffrey, big up Jeffrey, big up you. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you very much, you legend. I really, really appreciate it. You're absolutely welcome. More than welcome, mate. Absolutely. Watching football in your house would be an eventful experience. Man United, Liverpool. Me and my younger brother are very close, right? And we used to watch Liverpool, Man United together. We went to games together. And to be honest with you, it was very, intense. It was intense. It was. Watching Tottenham against Man United, majority of the time, Man United won, which was great. And I felt sorry for my brother at times, you know. Wimbledon gave us some tough games, but, you know, I mean, it wasn't that bad. But always we had to look at those fixtures every single season. We looked at those fixtures, of course, guys. Jacob, Jeffy, big up, matey, big up, Jacob, of course. Whole family supports different teams. Damn, be hard to celebrate a goal. It was very hard, Jamie. The difference is that I actually went to go to see Man United play. I actually went to Old Trafford by myself. I used to go to see games, and so I didn't really hope. A lot of the time when I got a little bit older, I didn't actually have to, cope with that, which it was really bad because. When you're watching a game with your family, this, for example, we're playing Liverpool, and my brother's a big Liverpool fan. Let's say Man United win, which we did a lot of the time at that time, and I can't go, yes, get in. Even though I want to, my brother was there, and I'd be like, I'm like, come on. And it's very tense. So I ended up getting a season ticket. Going to the games, of course, guys. Bill, nice to say, Canfro, we were all in the living rooms listening to United play Benfica. I was 8 years old. Wow. You're as old as my mum. No TV, couldn't afford one, but we beat the Benfica and Eusebio with the great Eusebio. Yeah, absolutely brilliant goal. Brilliant goal by George, Bobby Charlton. Fantastic goal. It was a great game. A tough game, Bill, but Man United managed to pull through. I wasn't around then. I was many, many years later. But big up, Bill. Good to see you here, my friend, of course. You're the Joker, Sal, because your Jim Ratcliffe impression was all right. Thank you, mate. I tried my best. Well, at the end of the day, that's Sal Warner. I don't really appreciate his tone. Bill, Jamie, I don't know that the time we played the Blue, the Fire, big up. I don't see anyone singing anyone in January the way this window is going, even though if we need someone, I don't see us doing it. No, we won't, mate. This is what Ineos do, LT. They kick the ball down the road, and then they'll say, January we do some deals. January comes. August we do some deals. July we do deals. July comes. January we do deals. We do it all the time. It's absolutely. Big up, Toxie. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, my friend. Hope everything is good for you. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Absolute legends. Thank you, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, please don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that, it'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. Also, guys, don't forget to put your notifications on because I will go live. If anything breaks, if the miracle happens and something breaks, I will be live, as Martin Tyler says, of course, guys. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox, and I'll see you tomorrow if nothing else breaks. Peace.